In my previous video, I was asked by a few of you to show my level design process that I followed to make my levels in GODOT. Although I've only ever made one game in 3D, I think I can provide help as to how one can make levels in 3D without using 3D modeling software like Blender. But now the issue arises, if we cannot use Blender, what do we do? CST, or whatever this is a feature of 3D modeling software, allowing them to make complex objects using basic 3D shapes as a base. We have them in GODOT as well. I will not go over what a box, cylinder, sphere, etc. is. I mean, they are what they are. You are smart enough. Let us focus our attention on these three nodes instead. CST polygon is very interesting in that you can actually make out what exact shape you want by writing each point's coordinate here. Like for example, I want to make a hexagon. I just type out the point's coordinate, type the height right here, and voila, hexagon. The CST mesh loads up your mesh that they have created in Blender or whatever other 3D software and treats it as a CST object here. Pretty simple, but since I do not know Blender, this is bad. CST combiner is used to group these blocks and provide properties that will be shared amongst them, like for example, materials, collision data, etc. The main properties of these CST blocks are the Boolean operators, namely union, subtraction, and intersection. Okay, that's great, but what exactly are these? In terms of mathematics, union is a set of all unique elements present inside set A and set B. Subtraction or complement is the set of all elements of A without the elements common between A and B. Intersection, on the other hand, is the set of all elements common between A and B. Great again, but what about GODOT? By default, you would be using these blocks in union mode, as you would be adding stuff to your level most of the time. Like in a maths lesson, it refers to joining of CST blocks and mainly serves the purpose of joining set pieces together. However, for complex shapes, we would have to delve into other modes. Subtraction, I believe, is really useful for making holes. For our use case, it refers to cutting out parts of other blocks that come in contact with the block having this mode. Pretty helpful when making windows, hallways, or any other concave surface in general. Intersection, although I haven't used this much, seems pretty good for making abstract shapes. It essentially only lets a common part be visible between the block having this mode and the blocks intersecting it.
Nice.
Okay, now that we know what CST is, let's see how we can use it. For this, I shall tell you how I designed the second set piece for my level in GODOT, the swamp walk. First comes the design process of the level. In my previous video, I showcased the core goal of any level. Your level should either support or challenge your player's movement. Let us go over how I implemented that here. Till now, the game has shown the player the basics of moving and shooting. To support the first part, I thought of making a walkway for the player to walk on. And to create the challenge for the same, I made a poisonous swamp, hence the name, where the player would take damage if they were to fall onto it. Of course, I also made ramps for the player to walk on to get back to the surface. To support the shooting, I firstly added some ammo that the player can take right as they enter the level, although it will be on top of a small swamp pool. This will teach the player that the swamp is hazardous. To provide challenge to both shooting and walking, I created walkers that will chase the player along the walkway, trying to make the player fall if they are not able to shoot them. I also wanted to teach the player how to shoot vertically in the game. I will not go into detail how shooting works. For that, you can watch my video about GODOT. Anyway, for this, I made a small cutout in the wall where the shooters will shoot at the player with a small ramp behind them leading to the bottom floor. I aim to provide two hints to the player with this design. 1. If the enemies can shoot at you, then you can shoot at them. 2. Seeing the ramp, there must be a way to get there. To highlight the second hint more, I place a shooter at the base of the ramp to show the player that there's a path up above. Players who finally take the hint and go above will be rewarded with the strongest gun in the game, the shotgun. With the idea finally done, let's make it. To make the walkway, I made a CST polygon with the depth of 1 and set it up. For the swamp, just another CST block just below the walk with the ramps at the end for the player to get out. Similarly so for the starting area and the ammo spot. After making the wall with the CST blocks, I made a hole with the cylinder on subtraction mode and made a small ramp leading to the bottom floor. Finally, I placed the enemy and the shotgun as told previously. Layout is done, let's quickly go over the lighting part. High intensity green omni lights on top of the swamp, low intensity orange omni lights for the walls, and for the whole a turquoise light to create contrast with the orange one. With this, the level is complete. Oh, wait. With this, the level is complete. Okay, bye.